Well, it's officially official. Paul George is coming to Philly. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but Sixers back on the agenda today. We're going to talk about Paul George, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, Eric Gordon, and the rest of NBA free agency. Are the Sixers back to being one of the beasts of the East? Overreaction Monday. We're live, taking all your thoughts and opinions in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all. Hello, everybody. We're live. Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. You know the drill. Wherever you are watching, hit that like, subscribe, share, follow button. Depending on the platform, do what you can to help everybody get involved and get interactive with the number one morning show in Philadelphia. The only show where your opinions actually matter. And the only show where you can clearly have a Paul George opinion without having to worry about, having your opinion shot down. Because I've got opinions, and they're all over the place this morning. Emotions are all over the place on this Overreaction Monday. Sixers are the third favorite to win the NBA title next year because of one decision. And that is Daryl Morey. Last night, while we were all, some of us were sleeping. Some of us sickos stayed up till 3 a.m. I did not. 4 years, $212 million to one Paul George to join Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey in Philadelphia. And while the Phillies were struggling this weekend, even though they had a big comeback, while the Eagles have been talked about, the Flyers had an interesting weekend with the NHL draft. With all that stuff being said, Paul George is a Sixer, and that is going to dominate today's headlines. Guys, I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I had an interesting one. Get the word out and let them weep back up. Yep. Daryl has his flaws, but he turned disgruntled Harden and $10 PJ into Paul George and 3 first unprotected 2029. Yeah, we still have all our draft picks, so there are more moves that could be made. And he turned Harden, and Brett, I don't want to be Mr. Negative here, but if you want to bring in disgruntled Harden and PJ Tucker, disgruntled Harden and PJ Tucker were his mistake. He made the mistake, first of all, and then he just had to fix his mistake. So anybody giving him credit for fixing the James Harden and PJ Tucker thing, I get it, he fixed it. But they were his own damn mistakes to begin with. So let's not give him too much credit for that. Do I love the Paul George signing? Yes. Am I weary of Paul George? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty fair way to describe initial thoughts. In 2024-25, will Paul George make the Sixers a better team in the regular season? Absolutely. Is Paul George an elite basketball player? Pretty much. Is he also 34 and you just gave him a 4-year max deal? And that's a huge, massive risk. Absolutely. Will Paul George mesh perfectly with Joel Embiid? I don't know. Is Paul George's skill set what we need or need it? Yes. There are so many positives and negatives. And I'm not going to overreact and say it was a terrible decision. I'm also not going to sit here and say Eastern Conference out of the second round is a lock now. What's up, K1? Good morning this Monday morning. He didn't give James his max, and it turns out James is only worth 2 years. He basically, James Harden could have stayed here for the same exact amount of money. That James Harden situation is just brutal to watch. Relax. The Halliburton deal was never on the table for all you conspiracy theorists. Yeah, I'm sure there was something better. Look, whatever. I don't want to rehash all that. I want to focus on the Paul George thing and what it does. And obviously, on top of Paul George, Andre Drummond is back on a 2-year deal, back to backing up Joel Embiid, because I told you guys Bona was not going to be a starter. Kelly Oubre agreed to stay in Philly for a 2-year, approximately $16 million deal. And Daryl Morey went back to the Houston well again and went and got 35-year-old Eric Gordon on a veteran minimum. So the Philadelphia 76ers have brought in 4 bodies this weekend, last night. So let's grade. What kind of a grade would you give Daryl Morey's first day? And there's still a lot of work to do. You still have a lot of draft picks you could trade. You still have a roster to fill out. Does he save some of these draft picks? There's still a lot on the table. There still isn't even a full starting lineup, because right now, as we speak, Eric Gordon's a starter. Outside, right now your stars are Maxey, Gordon, Oubre, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. That's not a good enough starting 5. So there are going to be more moves, and there are names to be moved. But what would you grade Daryl Morey's first 12 hours of free agency? Michael's right on the idiotic side of signing George. Look, total validated in thinking this, Michael. 34-year-old Paul George, giving him a 4-year max deal, is a massive, 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 massive risk. Massive risk. And I can't say I definitely like it. Now, if we go out and win an NBA championship this year, then who gives a shit? But, I mean, coincidentally, today is Bobby Bonilla Day. And if you need to be explained what Bobby Bonilla Day is, then you live under a rock. There is a scenario where this Paul George is just like the Bobby Bonilla. It's a terrible contract that we're paying for her life. Not literally like Bobby Bonilla, but you get what I'm saying. This is one of those deals that could win us a title. But also, we wish the NBA brings back the amnesty clause in 2 years. There's a lot of positives and negatives. Akshay Bhatia, right? I think I'm right on it. The 4th year is player option. It is, but 37, 38-year-old Paul George probably won't opt out. All these deals, actually. The Drummond has an opt-out after 1 year. Oubre has an opt-out player option. Gordon's just on a 1-year vet mid. Paul George does have a player. In 3 years, Paul George is going to be 37. He'll take the 50. I think it's $59 million in last year. Paul George is staying here for 4 years, Marshawn. He comes up short in big moments. It's something that scares me no matter the age. Paul George, yeah. Paul George has been to the Western Conference Finals once, the Eastern Conference Finals twice, but most of the time does come up short in the playoffs. He ain't that 2013 Indiana Pacer Paul George anymore, leading them to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's also got knee issues. He did play 74 games, 70 games, something like that last year, which was the most he had played in a while. But yeah, his playoff numbers are pedestrian. He's also never played with a Joel Embiid or a Tyrese Maxey. I guess you could say he did play with a James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, which is supposed to be pretty good. He's coming here to be the 3rd guy. So hopefully, there's less big moments that he has to worry about. I'm still curious on how his game will translate with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Zach, you're right to be weary of older players. I am. Massively. So you got 34-year-old Paul George, who has a bad knee, on a 4-year deal. You have Joel Embiid, who's 30 or 31. Basically, you got 2 years. You've got all these assets. You're going all in on this Joel Embiid 2-year window, basically. We'll see. Would you rather have given Harden or George the max contract? Seems like Daryl made the right choice. Personally, I would have given neither max contracts because I personally feel like 32-year-olds, 34-year-olds, 35-year-olds don't need max contracts. The only guy old that I'd give a max contract to would be LeBron James, because he just doesn't seem to age whatsoever. So all of them aren't great, deals or people to give max contracts to. At least in my opinion, they aren't. That's just me. Any sport. Older players. Absolutely. Now, I'm not thrilled with Eric Gordon because Eric Gordon just gives me reason to make Daryl Morey comments because, Eric Gordon's just another old Houston reject. At least he didn't give Eric Gordon the PJ Tucker contract he gave him 2 years ago. Eric Gordon's just a 1-year veteran minimum. It's like counts $2.5 million on our cap, $3.5 million contract. That's fine, but still, whatever. At least it's a 1-year deal for that guy. If you would have given Gordon more, it would have been a problem. But you don't like having a team built with old people. You need youth. You need energy. You need runners. In today's NBA, you need guys that can run and gun. Joey, we need a 4 still. Absolutely. Precious Achiuwa, his name's still out there. Jalen Smith is out there still. You still have the opportunity to maybe bring in Lauri Markkanen if the deal as free agency goes on. You still have picks that you could trade for him. That Clippers pick might become better in 2 years. Maybe. There are moves still to be made. I'd still like to see them bring in Saddiq Bey, who is now a free agent and available for our bench. Nico Batum will be missed. Well, why is everybody so upset? I said it when it happened at the end of the season. This was a 1-year run. They played in 2 games for the Sixers this year? Okay. Nico Batum is okay. But Nico Batum, he was almost checked out of basketball already. It took a while for him to come over. He was injured for a while. I fully feel that Batum will retire or go back to the West Coast to be closer to his family. There's still some family issues that he's been dealing with. How can you say he'll be missed? How many games did he really actually play last year? He's so far with 50% of the semester. Oh, you're grading the Daryl Morey an A with 50% of the semester still to go. I don't know if I can give Daryl Morey an A because I still think there's a lot of risk with this deal, with this contract to Paul George. The risk reward. Well, we won't fully be able to tell Brett till later, but because of the risk to the reward, I can't grade it an A so far. 11 point. Yeah, absolutely. Once I was aware that Eric Gordon was a minimum contract, it's fine. You need a guy that can still shoot the 3. Eric Gordon can. He's another undersized guard, Marshawn. And now 3 of our guards, Gordon, Maxey, and McCain, are all 6'3" or smaller. That is a concern to me. We don't have any guards that can actually play defense at an NBA level yet. See how I said that? So there are concerns there. Eric Gordon would have been great with McCain and Maxey if we'd gone and traded for Dejounte Murray, so we actually had some length in our backcourt, but whatever. You just added Eric Gordon and Paul George, 2 guys that shoot close to 40% or over. The combined take about 15 threes a game. That's what we need. We need each 3-point shooters to pair with Embiid and Maxey, and we got them. So that is good. Just with the good comes great risk. I'm trying to find someone or something that, I kind of feel like it was a move that had to be made, or Daryl Morey felt that this move had to be made. I don't know if it necessarily had to. It's okay. It could bring us closer to an NBA title. I don't know if Paul George, it's not like Paul George has won titles before. And Paul George has been on some pretty stacked teams. Hell, just now, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, they could not get over the hump. It could work. But the odds are it's not. And this Sixers team, if this does not work out, it's going to be exciting for the next year or two. For when it doesn't work out, if it doesn't work out, man, it's going to be dark days ahead in Philly with the Sixers team. Now is not the time for fear. That comes later. Yeah. I feel like that sounds like a line from a movie, and if it hasn't been, it should be added to some movie script. Joey, what's up this morning, my man? I think it's a near perfect opening day. Morey is looking at the next 2 seasons. Year 3 and 4, Paul George is immovable to teams looking to get up to the cap floor. Maybe that's the case, Joey. Maybe you're right. Maybe Paul George is not here for 4 years. Maybe. It all goes to if Paul George wins an NBA title with the Philadelphia 76ers, who cares about the rest? I just don't know if he's going to do that. David, what's up? George is the splash we needed. Honestly, the supporting cast is what I'm more excited about. This should lure more faces, just need to be healthy. That's a question. Health is a question, David. It is. Bringing back Kelly Oubre was a huge deal. Getting Eric Gordon on a minimum contract, smart. Andre Drummond, I said it before. Andre Drummond isn't the only center that could have backed up Joel Embiid. But when you see Jonas Valanciunas get 3 years, $30 million, 2 years, $10 million for Andre Drummond is very respectable, very important. Now you've got a guy who can go out there when Joel Embiid isn't playing and start and give you 25 to 30 minutes. And just grab rebounds, put the ball back in the basket. You've got a legit – I've said this before. If the deal with the Bulls did not fall through and we would have gotten Andre Drummond at the trade deadline, which the Bulls organization is a train wreck, could have had multiple picks for Andre Drummond from us. Instead, they lost him for nothing. Whatever. Say it. If we had Andre Drummond last year at the deadline, we would have won a few more games while Joel Embiid was out, and maybe we weren't in the play-in tournament, and maybe the whole playoff situation plays out differently. Maybe. The Andre Drummond deal, I think, is the best. Again, not the only backup center. We could have gotten others, but we improved it. And I think Paul Reed's basically gone. He's still here because maybe it's tradable. He's tradable, whatnot. But Paul Reed is basically, you got Andre Drummond, you got the Adem Bona, whatever his name is. Paul Reed's pretty expendable now. Rasheed, Billups, Rip, all came up short or never made it on their own. Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, love Rip Hamilton. Yeah, I get it. Philly fans complain about everything like it's taxpayers' money. It's the big picture, Marshawn. It's the fact that there's a salary cap and you're committing X amount of your salary cap to one aging player. I don't give a shit about John Middleton's money. There ain't no cap in baseball. Go spend every penny of it. But in basketball, you got to think about the money, not because it's taxpayers' money, but because there's a salary cap. And it's fairly hard cap at certain points to an extent. This is how you build bad franchises. Signing Paul George builds bad franchises. Yeah, maybe. Morey sucks. Congratulations on your second round bye roster. Yeah, look, I still don't think as of now, I still think another fairly significant move could happen in the next day or two. But I don't think we're better than the Celtics or Knicks. Pacers are right there. Magic are right there. Magic adding KCP. Another guy Sixers fans want it. I wanted him back in the Indy days as well, James. I loved his game early in his career. Stop. We don't love misery. We want excitement. We want to rejoice. But we've had our hearts broken by the Marsha, and you're the one that says how are they going to break our hearts next? And now you're just 100% on board? I don't know about that. We've gone from the process to the recess. Maybe. It doesn't flow quite as you think. What's up, Go? How you doing, my man? He's also the best player Embiid has ever had next to him. You sure Ben Simmons isn't? I'm just kidding. Probably. We'll see if they mesh and gel well on the court, but he's probably the best at least going into this next season. I don't know about Eric Gordon. Look, Eric Gordon, yeah, I want to make jokes about Eric Gordon, another Houston retread for Daryl Morey. That's what he's used to doing. But on a one-year veterans minimum deal, it's good. I'm fine with it. Shoots the three well. Now, if Eric Gordon has to start, that's a problem. But Eric Gordon coming off your bench playing 18 to 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. They had to go all in. This is their chance. It's not the all-in move I would have made, Cole, obviously. But yes, Daryl Morey and the Sixers organization felt the need to go all in here. They just happened to be the weakest offseason of talent available in ages. Good morning, Joe. What's up? How you doing today? Are you afraid that this is the same scenario feeling 5 years ago when we signed Tobias? All hyped to be let down. It's interesting. Obviously, we're replacing Tobias Harris with Paul George, basically. Now, Tobias Harris is nowhere near the player Paul George is. Obviously. But Paul George has come up small in big moments, just like Tobias Harris. Now, there is a chance that, yeah, we're talking about this as the worst contract of all time in 2 years, just like we have been since year 2 of the Tobias contract. There's definitely a feeling of that. This ain't taxpayers' money Daryl is spending. I don't care about that. It's not that it's the taxpayers' money. There's a salary cap. And you have to maximize it, or you're stuck with a bunch of vet minimums. But yeah, Eric Gordon can shoot threes and defend. That's all we need from him. Is he a good defender still? I can't say I watched a lot of his games in the last year or so. I know he was a good defender at one point, but he is 35. All I don't even need him to play defense. I need him to drop threes. That's all I need. Him shooting threes. 15 minutes a game, 4 threes off the bench every game. That's all I need. It is about selling tickets, not winning games. Daryl Morey's marketing team is already working up the paperwork. To all the sponsors, price just went up. Cost of doing business just went up. It's funny. I mean, they sell out pretty much every game. But I bet calls for season tickets or individual ticket plans didn't skyrocket just because Paul George's name was announced as coming to town. So sick of this. K1, I agree. And I think this is the thing, that this team has broken our hearts so many times in the last 5, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. 1983 was 31 years ago. No, 41 years ago. Jeez. Like, we've been hurt so many times. We're not used to these big risky moves paying off. All the risky moves. When we brought in Elton Brand to pair with Andre Iguodala, that didn't pay off. Andrew Bynum, big risky move, didn't pay off. James Harden didn't pay off. What were the big moves when Allen Iverson, bringing in Chris Webber, DC the second time? We've been hurt on big moves late in their career by stars or great players, and it hasn't worked out every time. So there's a reason why Sixers Nation is hesitant on this situation. I take John Wall and campaign over Kyle and Grandpa Gordon. John Wall can't really shoot. Campaign I would take over Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry isn't official yet, and I don't know if it is. Y'all don't even go to the games. I don't go to Sixers games. I hate that line. I hate when people say that too. I don't know if I've ever said that before. Damn straight, yeah. Seems like we'll probably get Marcus Morris back, yes, and Rocco for the bench. Yeah, maybe. And Rocco, sure, whatever. I still want them to try to get Sadiq Bey in here or Jalen Smith as a guy. There are guys that could be brought in to fill out this team. for sure. Nico won the playing game. Yes, well, I'm really far behind if we're still talking Nico here. He did. He had moments where he played well. Phil is the North Star to every Negatron, or he is, as he puts it, realist. You just really want to. I'm not the negative. You're the negative one in the comments today. Celtics also didn't have a bench yet. They dominate the season. The one thing I will say about Paul George, he's still a solid defensive player. And he could probably lock down Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum in a playoff series, even if he's not scoring the bucket, if he's healthy and playing come playoff time. I do like him in a matchup with them. I do like him in a matchup with the Knicks and having to be the one to guard Mikal Bridges. Never thought I'd say this, but I'm begging for baseball talk. Well, the Phillies had a weekend splitting with the Marlins. Obviously, the news came out that Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber on Friday that they went to the injured list, but they don't expect them out for long. Precautionary. Phillies offense struggled this weekend until they made their huge comeback last night, which I can be thanked for that because I tweeted out after like the third inning or fourth inning, well, that they had already lost the game and they came back. So I'll take credit for that. Not Nick Castellanos and Trey Turner's big hits. Phillies are always on the agenda. How can I not be excited? Have you not seen Paul George play? I have. And I was a huge Paul George fan 8, 10, 11 years ago. We're talking about a guy that's been in the league for 14 years, that's 34 years old, that has had issues, not bad this past year, but has had issues with a knee. And you just committed 4 years to him. And a max amount. You have to be in love with the idea that Paul George is here for the next 4 years. And I don't think so. Unless we win a title. And then all's good, all's forgiven, and I can care less about the back end. We've been hurt, Cole. You're 12 years old, Cole. You don't understand what it's been like to be hurt for over 40 years by this organization. Every time there's a glimmer of hope, a bad decision is made. That brings it all crashing down. It's hard to have that hope when bad things happen here. I'm not even saying pop the bubbly. There will be so many opportunities to shit on this team, but today ain't it. Actually, I think that's a fair comment from you, Marshawn. Today's the day to enjoy it. When they play, when we look back on it 3 months from now and it's not working, then we shit on. I think, you know what, Marshawn? I think that's a very fair comment. Stop coping, Phil. I'm trying. Coping harder than Copenhagen. If you want to be excited, it's the biggest free agent signing in Sixers history. So there's that. I'm sure it is. Yeah. It's Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, the fear quote. Oh, was it? It sounded like it was from a movie. I couldn't, but I couldn't think about it. There you go. I'm really far behind on these comments. Jesus. Like really far behind on these comments. Knew Phil was going to go down the worry rabbit hole like a soccer mom who forgot the team snack. Jesus. Oh, man. We need Paul George to step his game up with Embiid. Is out and become a facility Mac. Yeah, absolutely. Widener University. Is that a school? Widener University. That's where I graduated from. Not where I started college, but it's where I finished. Yes, there's also a big Widener University picture right there, too. I am a Widener University alum. Big picture. How about we just get out of the second round? Yeah, that is the big picture right now. Is this good enough to get us out of the second round? Is this good enough to get us to the second round? Everybody wants to get out of the second round. I want to get out of the first round. I don't want to play in the play-in tournament. If this was a straight-up trade where Harden and Tucker were traded for George and 3 first, Darryl would have been carried down broad. Maybe. Paul George is the best signing by the Sixers. I hope so, Brad. I hope so. I do hope it works out. I might sound negative on this show, but I really hope it works out. There's nothing more entertaining than fantastic basketball being played in the playoffs by your Sixers. It's just been a long-ass time. I didn't say it had to happen. I've been clear that Lauri Markkanen and emptying the cupboard for Lauri Markkanen was the number one choice for me, just so you know. Hey, it worked for the 93 Phillies. Bunch of washed up has-beens. That's true. But they didn't pay a maximum amount of money for one of those, just so you know. Similar, but much different. Trust the goofball era. Haven't heard much from them re-sign Lowry. Are you happy if Gordon prevents? I'll like the Gordon signing more if it means Lowry's not here. Lowry is washed. Gordon still shoots at a near 38% clip from three. He still gets up 5 or 6 threes a game. He can still get you an occasional 15-point night. Kyle Lowry is washed. 6-3-24. The day Philly fans ignored the Water Dogs' first win as a city-based team to celebrate the sign of another bum. Yes, Muffler Mike. The Water Dogs, they're out there playing. Does anybody, if the Water Dogs play, but no one actually watches, do they actually play? Maybe we can bring back Doug Collins power site. Dude, I was a huge Doug Collins fan. I loved him as a coach. I loved him as an analyst, too. There was a stretch of time where I was a huge Doug Collins. What's the cool word? Stan? Is that what the cool kids say? Did the Sixers make it official? Yes, the Paul George is official. Well, Wojnarowski said it's official, so it's official. And, it happened in the night while we were sleeping. Some sickos stayed up till 3 in the morning. That's true. Laurie hasn't been to the playoffs yet. Laurie's 26 years old. Paul George is 34. There's an 8-year difference in age and gap there and in health there where the opportunities to succeed will be there. Plus, then with Laurie, the trade, you would have the money to go sign multiple other players better than Eric Gordon. Klay Thompson would be in play. Jalen Smith would actually be in play. Saddiq Bey would actually be. You could have gotten Lauri Markkanen with Achua, Smith, and Saddiq Bey probably. Instead, you got Paul George with Drummond and Eric Gordon. Just saying. We're cleaning house at Denny's for that early bird special. What? Boston has mostly vet minimums. Y'all talk about salary cap like they tax in y'all paychecks. Stop. Bring back Sark. No, seriously, you could bring back the homie. And I've heard him linked to Philly from multiple accounts. I have no problem with that as a bench piece. But Sims, Jody Meeks. Tony Roten, Street Ball Specialist. Jody Meeks, man. There's a name I haven't thought of in a while. Jody Meeks. I got to put that back up there. Jody Meeks. You aren't wrong. Pick a struggle. 1 week ago, I wouldn't mind Max PG. Week later, I'm sick of the team. No. There are very few people on this show's comments that were pro Paul George. I will say that. Dude, everyone loves numbers. There are so many Paul George uniform edits going on out there. And he's got 13 on. He's got 24 on, 3 on, 1 on, 0. I literally seen him wearing 9 different numbers in photo edit Photoshops. So I don't know what number he'll wear. Glutton for punishment we are. We are glutton for punishment for sure. Trauma bonding in the morning. Yeah, we're not overreaction Monday in here. We're trauma bonding Mondays here today. Look, we've been hurt a lot. And that's why the negativity rolls in. We have been hurt a lot in Philly, especially with our Sixers. Sixers going to hire David Arquette. That might be you know what? I think that was a valid way to do a segue. Philadelphia, Daryl Morey, whoever in Philadelphia. In 2 years, if you need to get out of that Paul George contract, call our friend David Arquette. But really, if you need a workers' compensation lawyer, if you're in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury law, criminal law, call my man, David Arquette, the Cherry Law Firm. 610-565-0300 or cherryinjurylaw.com. He is here to fight for you and get you what you deserve. Again, his number is 610-565-0300, cherryinjurylaw.com. Make sure you let him know Edge of Philly Sports and Trending in the AM is where you heard about him. First, again, 0300 or terryinjurylaw.com. And right back to the comments here. That's right. Trey Bomb. I don't care if Phil is negative on Darryl. I was negative on Howie. I was negative on Howie too. And he won us a Super Bowl and got us back to another Super Bowl. All Daryl Morey's got to do is win us an NBA championship, and I'll love the guy again. 2 to 4 weeks for Schwarber, and Harper means grade 1 strains and probably 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, there's rumors that they could be back before the All-Star break. Schwarber and Harper, I wouldn't risk it if they're ready 2 or 3 days before the All-Star break. Just hold them out till after the All-Star break. The offense is struggling without them, and rightfully so, along with JT Realmuto. At the same time that these 3 offensive juggernauts are hurt, your pitching staff is starting to struggle all of a sudden, your starters. Although, shout out to Christopher Sanchez for going a complete game shutout on, was it Friday night or Saturday night? 9 innings, didn't walk a batter, gave up 3 hits only. They gave him a big, they bought out his arbitration. They gave him a 4-year extension, Christopher Sanchez. And how does he thank them? He goes out and throws the 4th complete game shutout of the season for the Phillies. That should be the fun news right there. Phillies had an amazing weekend yesterday with a comeback win. I mean, I don't know if going 2-2 against the last place Marlins is amazing. Considering the situation, it was very good omen going forward for the next 2 weeks. Yesterday's comeback and Christopher Sanchez's game were great. Ranger, Wheeler, Nola have struggled at times lately. So, which we knew was going to happen. We knew there was going to be downward ticks for the Phillies. So all credit to them for battling back yesterday when everyone, including myself, had written yesterday's game off. What do you want me to move on to? Paul George is the trending topic. Paul George, the Phillies, and Bobby Bonilla. They are the trending topics today. You don't know what it's like, kid. You don't know what it's like. I don't even believe we have the 3rd best odds to win. We do, actually. We are the 3rd best betting odds to win the championship. 2nd best odds, it's the Celtics, then the Nuggets, and then the Sixers. They're the top 3 teams betting odds to win the NBA championship. I don't say it just because of Paul George, but we'll see. Steve is definitely happy with Oubre coming back, add a few more pieces. Yeah. I like the Kelly Oubre deal. I like Kelly Oubre coming back. I hope Kelly Oubre could go to our bench because I think that's best suited for him to be an energy guy off the bench. Last year, late in the season, in the playoffs, he was forced to start, play 35 minutes a game, and I think that's too much for him where he might get exposed, and I think he did get exposed. But I like Oubre coming back, and I hope it's for the bench. I really do. People say that we need to get younger and faster. Now people are happy with we got Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, and Paul George. Younger and faster, but you got older and slower. That's true, Mitchie. What? Where am I? Please explain to me where I am backpedaling. I think I've been spot on. Consistent. We are massive contradictions. We are, for sure. Martin, the Sixers have the 2nd best odds to win the title now. When I checked this morning, it was 3rd, 2nd best to win the Eastern Conference. Maybe that has changed. If there's any other breaking news during the show, let me know. I feel the Water Dogs missed an opportunity. They did. And I talked about this last year on my previous network about when this news happened, that they missed the opportunity to call them the Water Dogs. A Water Dog? Who the hell knows? But it is our lacrosse team relaunch. If you didn't know, we have a professional lacrosse team known as the Water Dogs here in Philly. Phil, remember every time Joel got doubled, Maxey pushed the ball and Tobias was wide open? That guy is now Paul George. George also finished at 70% at the rim, and he shot 90% from free throws. Look, you just took Tobias Harris and replaced him with Paul George. That is great. But we just got off of that awful Tobias Harris contract, and now there's Paul George's contract. We'll see. There's no doubt about it that Paul George is a better player than Tobias Harris. There's no doubt about it. I just think if it doesn't work out and does not result in a title, it's going to go down as one of the worst contracts of all time. Best Doug Collins quote, know your personnel applies to everything in life. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Laurie was ever going to be traded. Ainge wanted to see his value after Bridges. Yeah, I think it was. There's too many rumors saying that they were trying to bring people in to pair with Laurie Markkinen. So I thought it was rare of a chance that he would get traded. But if he still does get traded and it's a package we could have matched, I'm going to be upset. Good morning, Little G. Will you look at this? Look at what? Look at what? Phillies win game. They did win a game yesterday. I feel entitled to compensation. I always do. I want compensation. I need compensation. Side note. So we adopted 2 more dogs this weekend. Why? Because the foster company that we fostered, or the rescue company we fostered through, we have Louie and Lucy, 2 fosters. We've had them for about a year now. And the foster company is hired that nobody adopted them yet. And the foster company basically told us this weekend, if you don't take them officially as adoptions, we're just going to put them down. Because we don't want to pay for them anymore. And they don't pay for anything other than their medical bills, which is once a year. So we were basically bamboozled into adopting 2 dogs because we couldn't let them get put down. The rescue company hasn't advertised that these 2 fosters were even available for adoption in 6 months on their website. How are they going to get adopted if you don't actually promote them as adoptable? So we now have 4 dogs in our house, officially. We got 2 more dogs with my name on them. All because the rescue company said, we don't want any more responsibility of them. Either take them or we'll put them down. What the hell? That was my life this weekend, on top of all this drama. So now we have 4 dogs. And yes, there's no way that I would have let those 2 dogs be put down just because nobody adopted them. No way. But that, extremely frustrating. I'm sitting back smoking one and letting go around and do it. What? What? No fear in this house? No fear. Would you breaking out your 1993 No Fear shirt? I stayed up until 2 a.m., then got a notification about Paul George contract when I finally went to bed. Yeah, I stayed up till about midnight last night. I couldn't wait any longer. So now it matters that the Phils are beating bad teams, Mr. Situational Ethics. Rangers, Suarez, and Wheeler still the top 3 in the. Absolutely. I'm not saying they're bad. They've just had some off games lately. What's up, Judd? How you doing this morning? Hope you are well, my man. I hope in Kelly's contract he has to tell us what really happened when he got. Yeah. All this trauma bonding is sickening. Phil can't even wait for all this to come crashing down to say he was right. I hope. No, Marshawn, I've said this before. When I am negative, I hope more than anything that I'm right. Or that I'm wrong. Right. Hope that I'm wrong more often than not. Trading the AM topics. PG, Bobby Day, Phillies week. WIP topics is just, yeah. This is probably very accurate, Joe. Probably very, very accurate. Ratings-wise, it's not the number 1 morning show, but in theory, it is the number 1 morning show. And there ain't no doubt about that. Now, we've got to get the ratings up to be the number 1 morning show. That's what we got. That's where you got to hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button. That's how we get this to the number 1 show. What's up, Anu? How you doing? That happened. I watched nothing over the weekend. Judd, yes, that's right. Looks great on paper. You're right. What's up, my man? They have talent but lack continuity, which Boston and New York have. Sixers are 3rd best. Sixers are 3rd best at minimum right now, or best right now. And I get that. It takes a long Joel Embiid and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey aren't just going to snap a finger and play perfectly well together. There are going to be growing pains there as well. What's up, Brandon? How you doing? I want to be more excited than I am. Drummond will help. Absolutely agree with you that. Just got to hope they can win something the next 2 to 3 years before guys get too old. Yes, I couldn't care less about Eric Gordon on the minimum. Yeah, I think Brandon's fair in what he's saying there. Never mind, Windhorse says that the Laurie will finally be traded. I was wrong. He will. I wonder where to. The crappy star purchase we have been loathing happened. Yeah, we are waiting on Tobias. Where is he going? He's going to be brought back on the veteran minimum to Philly. and come off our bench to back up Paul George. How about that? Sixers will not beating the Knicks, obviously, with the Giants picture. Look, I'm honest with myself. I'm a realistic person. I still don't think at this moment we are better than the Knicks. Now, there's more team to build out, and we will see. Yeah, Duck, tell me about it. NARPS, NARPS. There was some behind-the-scenes drama going on with the two owners of the brand, of the rescue, but NARPS. Penelope, my dog, we foster failed her 2 years ago, but that was us. This one, we've had them in our house now for over a year now, and they don't do anything to promote their dogs. But now we're stuck. It was either let them take them back and put them down, or keep them. And it costs $200 too. But whatever. Total NARPS done. I unfollow them. Won't support them anymore. Basically, yeah, without a doubt. Phil will never not have hair in his house. Yeah, and the house we bought, Brett, has either very light colored carpets or white tile throughout the entire house. Just so you know. We got New York Rats in the chat. Yeah, we do. Yeah, you saw that. I saw it. Embiid won it and pushed for Paul George signing. If Paul George doesn't work out, this isn't on Embiid because this was. Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. If it doesn't work out, Paul George and Joel Embiid will be gone in 2 years. I think we've got a 2-year window with Paul George and Joel Embiid to win a title. And if it doesn't work out, both go after 2 years, and then it's the Tyrese Maxey show, I guess. I went to ACT Philly and looking at dogs. She's starting to look for another dog. Well, I can't offer you my fosters anymore because they're my adopted dogs. But yeah, go to an SPCA because they're always overrun with dogs. That's the way. Adopt, don't shop. I get that. That's the way to go. But yeah, tough weekend for that for me. 212. That could have gotten us some good young talent and deepen this bench. It could have. New York fans, Cowboys fans, certain fans just love to pop in from time to time. Love to. And you know what? I don't care. I enjoy it. Because we all about having fun here. That's what we do here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's true. They added Drew Holiday and won a title. What does Barbara Carroll think? That's the only question. Yeah, where's Barb this morning? It's not Barbara Carroll. It's Barb. We're on a nickname basis, Barb and I now. When PG-13 teams can't really double team Joel Embiid if they leave PG-3, I think it's a fair thing. This is a fair comment from Mista in the positive side of the Paul George scenario. You can't leave Paul George open. Still shoots at a 40% clip from deep, and he has no problem taking up to 8-10 threes a game. He averaged 7.8 a game last year, or 8.7 threes attempted a game. Double Joel. Paul George is wide open for 3. Double Paul George. Joel Embiid's wide open. Double both of them. Tyrese Maxey's there. So in theory, if Nick Nurse is a great coach, these moves could be big. Markin will help me have a more positive outlook on this team as it stands. We're 4th best in the East. So obviously the Knicks and the Celtics, and who's the 3rd better team than us? Are you putting the Pacers ahead of us still? McCain, Bona, and Thompson have to be very good for this to work out. Bona, I think, will see the floor minimally, if at all. It's going to be Drummond. And in theory, still Paul Reed, but probably not Paul Reed. Bona will only see the floor in games when Joel Embiid sits. And right now McCain's a player, but we'll see once the rest of the rosters build out. I love having the other fans in the house as long as they got good jokes and can take a joke. Exactly. As long as they can handle the fire that they throw. Right back at them. Phil, you still my guy. Pound the like. That's right. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, please. Eric putting the Raptors ahead of the... Yeah, probably. Is that what he's doing? Wow, I caught up on comments, guys. It's been a while since I've been caught up on comments before the final 30 minutes, but that's a perfect opportunity for me to bring up SherryTickets.com. If you want to go see a Sixers game this upcoming season, then go to SherryTickets.com. Great prices, no hidden fees, And if you use promo code EOP10, an extra 10% off. Whether it's for sporting events, concert, theaters, you go, you visit their site, you put in the promo code. The price you see is the price you pay. It's not like our ticket's going to turn into $200 of fees like these other resale sites. SherryTickets.com. If you need a more personal touch, call them 610-494-5050. Let them know EOP, Trending in the AM, is where you heard about them. SherryTickets.com. Don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best. SherryTickets.com. And of course, our friends at PhillySportsTrips.com. We're getting closer and closer to week 1 of the NFL season, guys. And they are the premier travel and tailgating experience company there is out there. They offer full-service trips and tailgating experiences for the best fans in the world, Philadelphia sports fans. Whether you want to go to Eagles game, Phillies game, Sixers, Flyers, Union, on the road, or in Philly, check out all their great options. They got a great package to Brazil week 1 to see the Packers take on our Eagles. Tailgating experiences like Italian Heritage Celebration at the park. They got a trip in a couple of weeks. I can't believe we're into July. Today's July 1st. That's insane. A couple of weeks to Pittsburgh. Obviously, spring training next year. They're already taking tickets or deposits for that. You can go see the Union, who stink this year. How they've fallen off a cliff, I don't know. You can go see them play in Miami. And, of course, all our other Birds takeover events in Tampa, Baltimore, Dallas, and so on. So, PhillySportsTrips.com. Make sure when you sign up, EOP and Trending in the AM is mentioned, guys. And, guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the Edge of Philly Sports. Hit that like, share, subscribe, follow button. Please, I beg of you. Those buttons are so important to hit. Have to hit those buttons. Lock it in. Lock it in. I'm Phil Stiefel, your host every single morning. We're here every day. Programming note. We're going to go all 5 days this week, but this week is the 4th of July. Thursday is the 4th of July because, again, like I said, I cannot believe it is July 1st already. Holy crap. We're going to start a little later on Thursday. It's a day off from the pizza shop in the middle of the week, so I'm going to sleep past 6:30 in the morning. So I'm thinking a 9 a.m. edited start time on Thursday will probably be what we do. Just a programming note for you guys on that one. In theory, Phil would have 100. In theory, we'd have 100,000 people live watching right now. Knicks may be battling the Sixers for hospital days. I don't know. I can't see what that is. Don't come up here with that negative, bruh. I don't think we're being negative. We're trying to look at everything on both sides of the table today. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to see this from all angles. That's all. There are positives. And I just went over some of them. Tobias Harris, gone. Paul George in. Positive. When Joel Embiid gets doubled, there's a wide open 40% three-point shooter that's not afraid to shoot sitting there in Paul George. The negatives, 4 years for a 34-year-old guy. At the end of that deal, making $60 million almost, could be a problem. Now, if we win a title, I don't give a shit. But if we don't, the back end of that contract is going to be dreadful. That's it. We'll cross that bridge. The dreadful part of the contract, we will cross that bridge. What about Paul George, the person? If it doesn't work out after 1 year, is he going to ask out and demand a trade? That's something else that's popped into my head. Celtics, Knicks, and Pacers are ahead. Yeah, I would put us maybe ahead of the Pacers. We'll see how the rest of free agency goes. Bucks and I would put Pacers, Bucks, Magic, and Sixers all looped together in that 3 through 6 range. We'll see. The rest of free agency will determine who's at the head of that class of people. I'm here for all the slander on the Sixers because our fans are trash. I don't think we're trash. I think we're here to have a conversation. We're a fan base that's had our hearts broken. Tracy versus Chesson. I don't know if you're Tracy or Chesson. I don't know. We have had our hearts broken for 40 years as Sixers fans. At least I have. Tired of having my heart broken. I'm used to having my heart broken. So you got to understand, it's not trash fans. It's fans that put passion into this team that get their hearts broken over and over and over and over again. That is all it is. It's the fear of having our hearts broken again. Barb! Morey is getting the Executive of the Year award for making Paul George agree not to stay injured and to not load management. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. This move will either go down and cement Daryl Morey as a great executive, or it'll go down as just another blunder in his career. We won't know for a long time. That's the thing. We won't know if this is a good move for what? 2 years? Well, I appreciate you. Hope you have a good. Hope you have a great day. I love that you're super positive about the Paul George signing. I want to be super positive, but my heart's been broken so many damn times that it's very difficult to do, Tracy. It is. Well, Morey swung big. Yeah, he swung big. You know what? And see, here's the thing, and this goes on to the conversation that I've said for the last week or so, that I don't criticize the Knicks for swinging big. You deal with the consequences later. Morey swung big. I would have swung big for marketing, just like you would have, Brian. But he swung big. I'm not going to completely trash Daryl Morey for going out and getting the biggest. That Paul George was the biggest name free agent available, the biggest star in free agency that could have been signed. He went and got him. Okay, it is what it is. Would there have been trades I would have made instead? Sure. But I'm not going to 1,000% crush him for swinging big. Swing for the fences. You're trying to attack the East and win the East. Go get the best player available. I would have preferred marketing. That's not the way it worked out. A lot of the other free agents stayed with their teams. We're trying to be positive. Well, I need it after forcing myself to adopt 2 dogs this weekend. Or I could choose a little bit more than that. These fosters of mine that are now adopted, that I was forced to adopt, haven't had one medical issue in the year plus that we've had them. But now that they're officially ours, I guarantee one of them gets sick in the next week or two. Maxey and the Sixers have agreed to a 5-year, 200. Yeah, I mean they couldn't do the Maxey extension. The Maxey extension's happening. I don't think it's going to be officially signed until the entire roster's built out, Brett. Because if he signs it officially to paper before it hurts your cap space. But they can sign him after they've already gone over the cap. So it's going to happen. I'm not worried about Maxey. It's crazy that Maxey's extension is only 5 years, 204. When Cade Cunningham signed a 5-year, $250 million contract. Who's a better young guard in the NBA? Who would you rather? Maxey at 5 years, $200 million, or Cade Cunningham at 5 years, $250 million? I forget the exact number, but something like that. I would take Tyrese Maxey over him all day. We're inching closer. I got a nice Eagles conversation written down for this week right here. All right. Today's a lot of Paul George, but there's an Eagles question to discuss right here in my notebook. There is something that I had a little fun with. I'm ready to talk Eagles. When will the season end next year, Tech? First, second, Easter? I can't fully answer this yet, Tech, because this team is not fully built yet. Eric Gordon's not going to start on the team right now. He's a starter. Kelly Oubre is a starter right now. So, can't fully say it. I got to really see the other additions that this team makes, which there will be more additions. If I could get Sadiq Bey or Jalen Smith on this team, maybe even Klay Thompson, hell, Zach LaVine's still in play, in theory. I need to see one more person added to this team before I say this. But we're right now still in that second round range. Now you get one more solid player. KCP was somebody everybody wanted. A KCB type player. I'm good. Then maybe we've got a chance at the Eastern Conference Finals. We're not finals bound yet as constructed. No doubt. Not at all. We needed him, bro. He was the best thing smoking in free. He was the best free agent, period. No doubt about it. I would have swung for the fences in a trade, Tracy. I've been very adamant wanting Lauri Markkanen. I knew it was a pipe dream, and I knew Paul George was more of a probability. But Paul George, I'm not going to criticize him for swinging for the fences. Yeah, Maxey got his extension. Yeah. I don't think it'll officially be signed until the rest of the deals are done. I think there's some kind of cap implications that he can't sign until everybody else is signed. That's it. but he'll get it. Don't buy the Knicks being up there. Teams won't be taking them for granted this year. I think that's fair. And yes, there's questions about Bridges and OG Anunoby and all the money and draft picks traded. The Knicks are a really good team. We'll see if they can sustain it long term. That's always the question. Barb, in the words of Uncle Joey, cut it out. No other team would give him 4 years. That tells you something. Nobody was going to give Paul George 4 years except for that, us. But instead of letting him go somewhere else for 3 years, we gave him that 4th year. That was Daryl Morey swinging. That 4th year was him swinging for the fences. I like the Magic, Tracy. I think the Magic are a good, young, up-and-coming team. I think KCP going there will be a nice veteran presence in that locker room. I think the Magic are still 2 to 3 years away from being really serious threats. But we saw Indiana last year make that jump in the playoffs. So maybe Orlando could in theory. We'll see. I still think they're a little bit ways away. But they're building something good in Orlando there. I think with the way this team is currently built with the expected injuries, we are out in the first round. Got to be healthy come playoff time. That's it. Nick Nurse has got to manage injuries. I'll admit it. I am trash. Yeah, you are. I'm proud of it. Yeah. Maxie is a done deal. See, this is the thing. I don't think we're trash. We're traumatized. I'm writing that down. Trashed, traumatized. Wrote that down. That's good social media content. But I also buy into Tim Legler's take on Paul George. What was Tim Legler's take? Nooms, please give me that in the comments. I've never felt like the Sixers had a legitimate chance of winning a championship. They just never been the best team in the NBA during my lifetime. Missed, I'm right there with you. I'm 44. 43, about to be 44 later this year. I don't remember 83. 01, they were not the best team. Yeah, I'm right there with you, mister. Warriors Spurs rumored for Laurie. Man, can you imagine the Spurs? They go get Chris Paul, then they go get Laurie. Man, that would be – I don't think the Warriors have what it takes to get him. I think it's a good move regardless of how it turns out. We had to do something. I agree. Like it or not, it was a necessary evil. It was. Can't you do a poll where we ask whether we'll win a championship with our upcoming roster? I don't know how to do YouTube polls live on the show. I'm not talented enough for that. I know there's a way. I just don't know how. Paul George played 74 games last year, shot the best from 3 in his career. Yeah, Tracy. And that 3-point shooting, and what was it on? It was either 7.8 or 8.7 or something like that. 3-point shots a game. Yeah. If we get last year's Paul George this year, second round at minimum, depending on the rest of the roster. But we need last year's Paul George, not some of the other years where he's been injured or taking years off. Phil Tamori, you had a big shot, didn't you? You had to prove it to the crowd. The Knicks' top 9 rotational players are all under 30. I think about that. Yeah, we're an old team. There ain't no about to doubt that, Barbara, now. I just wanted Laurie. That's what I wanted. Larry Love, what's up? I'll take Laurie if it's alongside PG. I'd rather not, though, because, guys, he has never played the playoffs. Someone said that earlier. He's been playing for more than 5 years. I wouldn't call him a winner, but he could shoot. I'd still do it, Larry. I would still. Even with the Paul George, I would give up everything to add Laurie Markkinen. I know it's not realistic. It's not going to happen. Give me Klay Thompson now. Give me Sadiq Bey. Give me Jalen Smith. You want to get younger, go get Jalen Smith. There are a couple other names that I saw become free agents that I would like this weekend. But, yeah. We will have enough depth to win a chip. That's the thing. That's why I can't judge where this team will go till the depth is built out. Yes, you could still, in theory, get Laurie. It would hurt you in the rest of your roster. I read one of the big name reporters, Michael, talked about how if they got George and Laurie, that everybody else they brought on had to be on vet minimum deals. So your depth, your back end players would all be Eric Gordon types. But if you got Lauri Markkanen, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid in theory, then that's all you need, I guess. Yeah, there's no doubt that Max. I know it's breaking news that he signed or that he agreed to his extension. This is just. It was always going to happen. Maxey wasn't going anywhere. Maxey was getting his extension. I know. I got you. I see that. I see it just like everybody else does. We knew this was happening. This is not a secret. It's not breaking news in a way that, we have to be whatever. This is 100% happening. I hear you, but we've screwed once. We have to sign Lauri. Yeah, that is true. Maxey, $204 million is light for approving it. I just can't believe that Maxey only gets. I don't understand how NBA contracts work and max contracts work because Tyrese Maxey couldn't sign a max contract bigger than Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham got a lot more money than Tyrese Maxey, and it's just weird to me. I just don't understand how this situation works. Heamy hands, bring on Boston, New York next season. Love the confidence, Heamy. Love the confidence. That's what I'm saying. They had too much energy, too much depth. Duck Embiid is going to want more money. Embiid is up for an extension as well. He's got 2 years left on his deal, but you could tack on a 3-year extension this offseason. And I would be shocked if he didn't get that because you want him to be content, happy, I guess. I think it'll be a mistake, but, he's eligible for it. You got to give it to him. Please get rid of Paul Reed. Paul Reed's interesting. Because you've got now Andre Drummond as your backup. You've got Adem Bona as a developmental third big. Paul Reed is a tradable asset. And I do expect, even though Lauri Markkanen trade is not realistic now, I do fully expect them to make a trade or two. Keep the Bulls in mind with Zach LaVine. The rumors that they are willing to attach a first-round pick with LaVine to get off of the LaVine contract. Maybe you could get a trade and put Paul George over there for LaVine. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Too much youth. Got to have all old people. We're not screwed because we could flip him at the deadline if it looks bad. Lauri is not a defender, but he's got size and can shoot. I like that, but he's never played. I get all that. Where do you take your dogs to poop? Do they just all go together? No. So I got 4 dogs now. Yes. But if you missed the early part of the story earlier in the show, the rescue company I work with forced me to adopt 2 of my fosters because nobody was calling on them. They said, adopt them yourself or we'll put them down. My 2 new dogs or my 2 fosters don't play well with my two dogs. They just 2 sets of personalities. They don't work together. So we keep them separate. My foster now adopted dogs go into my backyard, do their business. Our other 2 old dogs, they just go in the front yard and do their business there. They get the front, the fosters get the backyard. That's just the way we've got the house set up right now. I mean, what are we doing? Trading all of your picks to trade him later? Yeah, I don't know. The Lauri thing is a pipe dream now. It always was, but it's a pipe dream now. It's definitely not happening. 4th year, a team option, guys. Relax. Sixers can get out of that in 2 years. Yeah, there's a 4th. It's funny. Every player, Drummond and Oubre are 2-year deals that are really 1-year deals with player options. Eric Gordon's a vet minimum. And Paul George's 4-year deal is really a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option. Now, Larry, I do expect Paul George in 4 years, he'll be 38 years old. My assumption is that he's not going to be good enough to opt out and get a big deal at that point. So he's probably here for 4 years. But yeah, in theory, you could get out of the deal after 3 years. If we have to re-sign Lord. What a night for the Sixers. Any more moves? There better be more moves, Joe. The Booch is in the house. Joe Bucci. I'm just giving an option to if Lauri looks bad defending smaller 4s. Yeah. I don't think we got to talk about Lauri because I don't think it's likely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because after this year, I bet he wants new money. Yep. No player option in Maxey's contract. He's staying 5 years. Love it. The Paul George has the player option. Legler has concerns Paul George won't be able to thrive under this fan base. There's that. There's a reason why the Orlando Magic were in play for Paul George, smaller market. That is fair. Paul George is not a personality that I feel like, well, I feel like he'll snap back at the fans and definitely the media at times. But we'll see. We're going to learn real fast. When's the intro press conference coming? My 40 years, well, I'm 44, almost 44. My 40 years as a Sixers fan says, no, we're not going to win a title. But that's the hurt and pain and disappointment speaking. In theory, this team, as we're currently constructed and expecting more players to be added, you got to think they're a front runner to make it out of the East. You've got to hope that they're going to. And honestly, they win a title this year, I don't care what happens after that. I really don't. I just want that chip. I want to be able to say my Sixers have won a title in my lifetime. I'd like him. I just want to, yeah. Laurie's just not happening, guys. All this EOP talent, and no one can teach Phil how to do a YouTube poll. I got so much to do. I run this show solo. You want me to manage a poll too? Seriously? I could probably figure it out. But I've already got enough going on reading all your Core 12 comments. 200 some comments into this show. I can't do everything. Get the show up, and then I can afford an intern and a producer. Laurie will probably end up a Warrior or Rocket, Spurs. If he gets traded, they sound like good places. Cool, good. Tyrese just signed, waiting for the complaints. There ain't no complaints there. Maxey legally can't agree to extension of the cup threats. Exactly. So he can't put his pen to paper. Verbally, they've committed to it. Verbally, we knew it was happening, but he's got to be the last thing officially inked. There's always money left, right? I guess. It would be great. I'm not against it, but we'll have depth issues, a bunch of vet. We're going to have a lot of vet minimums on this team. A lot of Eric Gordon types coming on this team for sure. McCain may actually be able to walk in here and contribute. We are at least rid of one-trick ponies. Yeah, I'm still not 100% on McCain, but like I said, PG isn't built to handle criticism of the media. Yeah, we need effort 100%. And the media, well, Paul George, there's a chance may take over the polls on WIP because, they love to criticize the stars there. Yeah, this team is going to look suspect likely, but there's some guys out there. Yeah, there's guys. Dude, I'll say it for 100th time. I want to find a way to get Saddiq Bey in here on our bench. I do. I'm a huge Saddiq Bey fan, have been since day one. Jalen Smith would be a great young addition as well. If I am Daryl Morey, I'm doing everything in my power to find a way to get Saddiq Bey and Jalen Smith on this team. I'm glad Maxey was able to get his money after making him a wait a year. Last time I remember a player gambling was Byron Evans. Oh, man. Brett, don't bring up Byron Evans, man. It was his knee, right, Byron Evans? Yeah, it was his knee. I think it was his knee, right? Damn. That linebacker core, Byron Evans, Seth Joyner, William Thomas. Dude, that was some linebacking play back when the Eagles organization valued linebacker play. Maxey's a very rich young man, but still not as rich as Cade Cunningham, even though he's a better player than Cade Cunningham. Looks like Reed's gone. When you have Joel Embiid, Andre Drummond, and draft Adem Abona, whatever his name is, Paul Reed is very expendable. And honestly, he was expendable last year. You're looking at a guy that's not a huge, Andre or Paul Reed fan. Paul Reed is okay. Bona is a younger, faster version of him. So I'm not worried about Paul Reed. He can go. I could care less. Stop. Can we talk about Michkov now? I don't know. But Sam Hinkie would be very proud of Danny Briere's draft in first week of the offseason for hockey. They got something like 743 picks in next year's NHL draft now. So, yeah, I mean, the Flyers are up and coming. I don't know, made a big deal of the Flyers denounced the rights to Carter Hart, obviously. Seriously, did people really think that they were going to extend him a qualifying offer with all that went on there? See, I pay attention to hockey news, K1. I know hockey news. I know the draft did not play out the way Danny Briere wanted to. He tried to be aggressive move up to 4, move up to 5. He tried to move up 3 different times, and it just didn't work out. They got a nice young player. They drafted a couple very young players. One of the guys they drafted only 17. So a lot of guys they acquired is because they're still not contending for a Stanley Cup this year. Michkov coming over or not, they're not contending for a Stanley Cup. So it is what it is. But I could talk Flyers. I pay a little bit of attention. I'll trade Pick and Paul Reed for Dorian Finney-Smith. I would take that in a heartbeat. Heartbeat, Tracy. No doubt about it. Nice. I have a. Yeah, exactly. Remember Maxine Joel finals broadcast played a role in getting Paul here? Maybe. We still have assets for the trade deadline. Team chemistry is important. It is. Very rarely do you pair a bunch of stars together and they win their first year together. Very rarely. The big 3 in Miami, they didn't win their first title till year 2. It happens very frequently. It takes a while, but you're just adding one star to 2 guys that have been together for a while. So maybe they can, buck that. And Nick Nurse's, no excuses for Nick Nurse this year either. Funny how just a few days ago, fans didn't like Morey and didn't want Paul George. I think the same fans still don't like Morey. I still don't like Daryl Morey. I'm just not going to criticize him for making a swing for the fences move. I still don't want Paul George. But you know what? It was the best available option. If you're not trading Joel Embiid, Paul George was a necessity. Fan base deserves snapping back. We're allowed to do whatever we want. Legler is annoying. Yeah, he can be at times. Paul George will be fine in this market if he just does his job. Paul seems to play hard. He does not give up. He's just been unsuccessful. We'll see. 2013, 2014, Paul George played hard. I don't watch a lot of Clippers games. I just read the box scores. Watch occasional. But we'll see. Just want the chip. That's all I want. I just want that title. Is the wrong person to ask about championship aspirations? That's all I want is championship aspirations. Nurse will really need to coach his ass off. He will. We'll have the deepest injured reserves in the NBA. Yes. The Sixers have won a title in my lifetime. I was 10 at the time. You're that old? You're that much older than me? I was 3. You were 10. That means you're 50 now? Nobody wants to be on Phil's poll. Oh, my God. Don't make me hot to it. Mitch, I know. Mitch always takes the next step. Make him sit out the Olympics. We need him healthy, please. Dante, it's something that I'm going to write that down. It's something we have to revisit. I wanted him maybe to recruit in the Olympics, but you know what? We need Embiid. We need Paul George. We need them ready to go. I would have no problem with this. You can't tell him no, though. I kind of feel like got to let him do his thing. Let him learn what it's like to play with other superstars. Stop talking about polls, please. Phil needs an intern to set up his poll. Yeah. I don't even know. This conversation's way off base now. Pierogies and latkes. On a side note, the new Harper summer branded chips, the pierogi chips I was so excited for, are so massively overrated. All the Hers chips that they came out with, the new brands, terrible this summer. Phil, let your dogs play outside together enough and they'll get along. No. These 2 Fosters, they're very aggressive dogs. They lived in an abandoned house for a long time. They got some aggression issues. Our original 2 dogs, would probably mix with most, but these 2, it's not going to work out. Love the Widener teacher. Hey, yeah, man. Widener University. Brian's still in the comment section. Brian, my roommate's always in the comment section as well. Graduates, Widener. Back in the day, used to hang out at Walio's for happy hour. When they used to do, what was it, like in college? Back in like 2000, 2001, it was like $6 Miller Lite pitchers for students at Walio's. Absolutely, Walio's is no longer there. Walio's, for those that don't know, was a bar like right off campus that basically any underage person, you only went into Walio's if you're an old timer from Chester, or if you're an underage college kid. You never went to Walio's just for fun once you were 21. That was bootleggers down the street. Byron Evers completely wrecked his knee, yeah. Fibula and tibia. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I couldn't remember what it was. It was all the above. I wonder if the taxpayer will pay for Phil's poll. Oh, my God. No, a Polish intern. Oubre re-signing is good. I just hope Oubre comes off the bench. I think Oubre at 20, 25 minutes a game off the bench, high energy, is his spot on a contending team. In an average or below average team, he plays 35 minutes. I would much rather him as your high energy, off the bench, Lou Williams type, Jordan Clarkson type. That's what I want him to be. But right now, he's a starter. What's that? BBP played like he was stoned on RB's podcast at the wrong times. I don't know. RB, run. I know RB. I don't know BBP. Snowden looking for, yeah, is that right? My top 5 most hated team rankings: Cowboys, Knicks, Celtics, Braves, Commanders, Redskins. I did a poll on this a few weeks ago. I'd have to look. But yeah, the Cowboys got to be up there. Celtics, Knicks. A lot of recency bias in it. My dogs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Snowden. Most sites gave the Flyers C- or D on the draft. Really? Why? I mean, they traded. They made a lot of moves. They missed out on a couple players. Well, they got a lot of future assets. They got Michkov coming over, and they got a lot of young guys. So the Flyers are sticking to that. 2026 is their year plan. I'm with the Dorian Finney-Smith trade. Absolutely. Bring Dorian Finney-Smith over here. 100%. Yeah, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying it's not easy to happen. You got to hope they all gel together quickly. They didn't really get anything they need for now, but it's not bad for. Yeah, they're grading it because of the now, the instant reaction. But I think the Flyers did well to keep to their plan of the future. They keep to their plan of the goal being winning in 2026, 2027. And that's a shame, but it is. At least the Flyers organization's up front with their plans. That's what it is. And I sarcastically said 397 picks next year's draft. I think they legitimately have 12 or 14 draft picks in 2025. So if Danny Briere wants to move up next year in the draft, he's got more than enough capital to do it. This year he wanted to move up to 4 or 5. He couldn't get it. Now he's got even more capital. And next year he can move up into the top 5 if he needs to. Yeah, Oubre coming back is bigger than if Batum would have come back. Everyone's freaking out that Nico Batum is not coming back. I'm perfectly fine with Nico not coming back. Yeah, neither do I. Paul George shot 41% from 3. Yes, we know that. That's good. And you cannot double team Joel Embiid with Paul George shooting 41% at 8 a game. You just can't. This is it right here. Until he gets re-signed to Philly. No, I'm just kidding. We still need a power forward. Tobias Harris could be brought back to start at 4. What would Sixers Nation do if Daryl Morey's next announcement was Tobias Harris is coming back? What would Sixers Nation think of that? Holy shit. Could you imagine the outroar and the crying that would happen from me, from Mitchie Poo, from a lot of fans if he came back? Seriously. As you know, I love the Flyers. I guess a few more years of suffering. Yeah. At least the Sixers won. I might have been 3, but at least the Sixers have won a title in my lifetime. The Flyers haven't won since, 75? Jeez. My old brother was 1. Bucks with Drew, 1 right away. Golden State with KD, 1 right away. Celtics with Drew and Porzingis. All right. Shut up. Anyone have any insight on why Turk Smith wasn't kept? You had to cut. It wasn't just Turk Smith. They also did it to Doughton. You had to denounce rights for the salary cap purposes. Just these guys that the blue coat guys, the 15th guy on the roster guys, the not guarantee guys, you had to denounce their rights, and then you can bring them back on low minimum contracts afterwards. But you had to denounce their rights to free up the cap space to make any other moves. Something along those lines. I don't remember the technical lingo, but there is reasons. A lot of teams do that. Doesn't mean they can't come back. That's all. It's a salary cap manipulation thing. Kyrie, LeBron, Love went to the finals 3 times. They won it the second time. Preach. Did Phil just hawk to? I did. Dude, everyone's crushing that chick. I love that she's She was on She was on the stage with Zach Brown in concert this weekend. I love that girl is capitalizing as much as she can on her 15 minutes of fame. Why not? You go viral, capitalize on it. Damn straight, if I had a viral video or tweet or something like that, I would massively capitalize on it. I talked to Clippers fans. They said he checks out on nights that Leonard took off. So Embiid is out. Expect it. We'll see. That is not something I want to hear, Eric. Not something I want to hear. Walio's Frog Pod. Man, Dante, there was always this rumor, Dante, that you can walk in there with an index card. Now we're talking Andorn. It's not there anymore. It was a Widener apartment building across the street from Walio's. Lived there my junior year. And there was a rumor you could walk in there with an index card and a stick figure as your ID. And I did it. I drew a stick figure. I put my name and a legal birth date on it, handed it to the bouncer, and he looked at me. He's like, "You got some balls, kid. Go on in." And he ripped up the index card. Like, literally. Some drunk college nights, considering I could literally walk across the street to Walio's. And I was 19, 20 years old that year. So, yeah. Dirk and Jason Kidd won right. Oh, stop, all right? Stop. Phil, try it. Stop. No. First, you trying to make me throw up? The mental checkouts are exactly the thing that could be an issue here. And the fan base and the media will not accept the mental checkouts. For sure. Oh, big ball. Paul Reed. Okay. And then RB do a podcast with him too, right? Yeah. Stop with the polls. Stop with the childish jokes. We'll love to get DFS, but how many picks would the Nets want, though? Yeah, I don't know. He's going to get moved. We've got plenty of I would, at this point, now that you got Paul George and Lauri Markkanen's off the table, you had 5 tradable picks for Lauri Markkanen. So in theory, you could take those 5 picks and make 2 or 3 trades to fill out this roster in theory. I got recruited to play football at Widener. I should have took the invitation. Chester has some nice looking. Mister, I think you're a little older than me. The football team when I went there was not very good. I was there from 99 to 02. I went my sophomore, junior, and senior year. Sorry, Phil, getting late to the party here. Maury did what you asked, so I assume you're happy. He swung for the fences, so I cannot criticize the decision. Is it the right decision? Time will tell. Will we look back on this as an awful decision? Maybe. But he swung for the fences. And you know what? If he wouldn't have said we're trying to beat the Celtics, we're trying to win the East, if he didn't say that, I would crush this move. But since he said that's what we're trying to do, he's actually following through with what he said. So I'm okay with it. Time will tell. Yeah, I didn't know who he was at first either, but he's a young kid. Oubre over Batum, absolutely. Everyone's freaking out about Batum. I said it mid-season. I said at the end of the season that he was probably not going to come back. I don't even know if he'll play in the NBA again. If he does, it'll be closer to his family. There's family stuff going on there. Let it stay private. That's cool. He only played like 25 games last year for the Sixers. I don't know why everybody's so upset about Batum. Batum's a bench guy. Not to play 35 minutes a guy. Bring back Tobias for the entertainment purposes, please. And a ham sandwich, maybe. Still a bit. Look. All right, Andy Reid and your ham sandwich. But Tobias Harris on the vet. Could you imagine? Hey, I decided to give back to the city, taking this min contract because you already overpaid me now. Someone's going to give Tobias Harris. If you see some of the deals getting given out there, if KCP got 3 years, $66 million, Tobias Harris is going to get 3 or 4 years at about $20 to $25 million a year. In this day and age, and what contracts look like in the NBA, for a slightly above mid player, $25 million is what you get. No way Tobias would go into. Yeah, he ain't coming. He would never play for Philly again. Bring back Cork. Absolutely. He's a free agent. We need to surround Embiid with shooters. Cork is a shooter. Corky. I don't know. Mitchie Poo is a special character, Tech. You know that. Yeah, absolutely. Tobias Harris or Ben Simmons, right? Yeah, who would you rather back? Here's a poll question for you. Who would you rather back, Tobias Harris or Ben Simmons? Guys, we're already at the 90-minute mark, and I'm still behind. Let me, what? If I went viral for positive reasons, I don't even know. TIAM. We need a poll. Yeah, exactly. Cut B-ball signs up. Yeah. If LeBron James finally doing his farewell tour this season, maybe. I got to fire through these. I got to wrap this show up, guys. I just want to see all your comments. Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow, I'm sure. Facebook, definitely subscribe. I appreciate it. Muchas gracias. We do this show every single morning, 8 a.m., 90 minutes every single day, except for Thursday, the 4th of July. I'm going to sleep in a little bit. We'll start at 9 a.m. on Thursday, but I won't have to go to work Thursday, so there'll be no cutoff time if the comments come in. I'm not going to talk about Tobias Harris right now. We got to wrap this up. Just got to like all these comments here. We don't know. I don't think we ever found out the Oubre stuff for sure. Oubre was misplaced as a starter. He's a bench guy, in my opinion. I don't want him playing the Olympics. Okay. Yeah, I'm in way overtime here right now. That's right. Oh, training. You've said that before, and I always mess that one up. That's right. No, not at all. Yeah, Deuce is there. Guys, one real quick. I didn't even mention them. Our other great sponsor on the show, Dolan's Bar. Check them out, dolansbar.com. 65 years in Ridley Park. Make sure you check them out. Let PJ and the crew know. We talked about them here on Edge of Philly Sports and Training the Game. Guys, make sure you hit that follow, subscribe button. 7-day-a-week programming right here on Edge of Philly Sports live every single day, all throughout the day. So make sure you check it out. Appreciate everybody tuning in today. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure we will talk more Sixers tomorrow. We'll try to dive into the Phillies a little bit. We will start talking some Eagles this week. And I don't know what we're going to do with Thursday's 4th of July show. We'll try to have a little fun on the 4th of July. We'll talk barbecues. We'll talk hot dogs. We'll talk sports, whatever. I don't even know if I'll have a title for Thursday's show. We're just going to have fun on Thursday. But, guys, with that being said, you guys got a couple minutes of overtime from me today. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Hit that subscribe and follow button. Wherever you are watching, find me on all social media platforms at Beard and Knowledge, guys. Everybody have a great Monday. It's going to be on like sub 80 today. So that's going to be fantastic. Everybody have a great day. Ring that bell. Go Birds. Go Sixers. And as always, bubbles up.